Quran abrogates the Torah.
Give me an ayah or a hadith anywhere that says that.
The Quran says that the Quran is the only way to follow Islam.
No, it
Islam.
doesn't
In the
say it
deen.
says Islam is the deen.
Yes.
It doesn't say Sharia.
Yes.
We all believe that
Okay,
we're
wait.
the same
When
deen.
the Quran says in the deen indallah al-Islam,
Yeah.
what does the Quran means?
No, now you're
Verily,
going to interpretation.
I'm going to
I'm looking for a verse.
I'm going to translate.
I want a verse that says.
Of course, I will give you the word. If you let me, if you let me come in, Rabbi. Yeah.
Okay.
The Quran says, verily, the only faith for God is Islam. The only faith.
What's the word for faith there?
Deen. Deen
Not
is a way of life.
No, deen is not Sharia.
No. Deen is Sharia.
No, it's not.
Deen, actually, I'll explain to you. Deen is Sharia according to the Jewish rabbis, Jewish scholars. They will tell you.
Minimum, you have to believe in God, you believe in the angels, believe in the last day. That's deen. That's not Sharia.
Okay, our understanding of deen, the word deen, is that it is a way of life. It is a way of life. It is not only it's not only literature. It's not only beliefs. Rather, it's actions also. Deen is actions.
There is no question that mainline Judaism, mainline Islam believes that the Torah is corrupted. The only thing is, I as a historian say.
No, it's based on the Quran, by the way. The Quran says.
What I as a historian claim is that this began with Ibn Hazm.
The claim that Torah is corrupted.
Yes.
Okay.
Before that,
but what do you do with the verse of the Quran, chapter 2, verse 79? فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَكْتُبُونَ الْكِتَابَ بِأَيْدِيهِمْ ثُمَّ يَقُولُونَ هَذَا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ لِيَشْتَرُوا بِهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا. Woe be unto those who write books with their own hands and say these books are from God. So that's referring directly to the Jewish people.
How do you know? How do you know it's not referring
because
to
when you read the when you read the context.
How do you know it's not referring to Jewish people, Sadducees, heretical Sadducees who were writing apocryphal books?
Okay.
Those were actually books, or even the Septuagint. This is from God. They wrote it with their own hands.
Okay, so when Prophet Jeremiah, you believe in him, right?
Absolutely.
In chapter 8, verse 8, when he's saying the rabbis have corrupted the books.
No, he doesn't say that.
Okay, read it.
It talks about the scribes.
Okay, scribes. Yeah, that's one of the scribes. Scribes have.
There were bad and evil scribes in the northern kingdom of Israel who were trying to justify the prophet, but it has nothing to do with the Torah.
Right. So when scribes are mentioned in the Old Testament, what scribes are we talking about? Scribes of history, scribes of chronicles, or scribes of scripture?
All of the above.
Scribes, as far as I know, scribes means people writing scripture.
No. Okay. The word sofer means somebody writes.
Right.
That's it.
So it's a general term. Jeremiah is generally talking about people are corrupting history.
Yeah, it was talking about people in
writing scripture.
Kingdom. Yeah.
Right?
Not writing scripture.
So Jeremiah's okay.
Scribes.
Right. So which scribes is he talking about?
He doesn't talk about the Torah anywhere in that verse.
I respect your view. Okay. I'm saying when Jeremiah is saying scribes, is he talking about any scribe, or he's talking about Israelites?
He's talking about false prophets who were trying to say he was doing a good thing when they were just making up stuff.
Right. Okay. Let's go to another point then. To elaborate it further, you believe the Pentateuch, the 5 books.
Why are we going this?
I'm not a
debater.
No, I'm not a debater.
I want to talk about things that are the same.
I'm one of your students. You're a rabbi. I'm a student. I'm only a miskeen. In the Arabic language, a miskeen is someone really down to earth.
I'm a historian. Right. I'm here to say that the Jewish people believe that there's one deen that was given to Adam and given to Noah. This din is obligatory on all mankind. All the prophets followed the same din, and that each nation was given, each ummah was given its own sharia. That's what we say. But and for you to keep that, you're my brother. You're my co-resident.
I completely accept your honorable statement that we are brothers. I accept you as my brother. I accept you as my brother.
It is the way of life.
Okay.
It is the way the Jewish people.
The issue here we're discussing is you are Jewish. I am a Muslim who follows Muhammad as a prophet of God. You clearly don't.
I'm claiming to you that I'm a Musavi is a Muslim.
No, I cannot call you Muslim. I cannot call you Muslim. I cannot call you. You can claim to be Muslim. No problem with that. I respect your claim. Okay. If you claim to be Muslim, I have no problem with that. You see.
Not only that, I claim that you are a proper believer, complete in every way.
And I praise that. I cherish that thought. I really appreciate that thought seriously, and I'm being very sincere about this.
And so I don't really have much to say after that.
But the discussion again. No. Don't talk about that. The discussion. What my question is as a sincere Jewish, as a sincere
Ibn Qatada said, it says din wahad sharia muhtafiyah. There's one din and there's many sharia.
No, but if you read Isaiah 42 carefully, which you do, I'm sure you have, right? So when it says let the villages of Kedar lift up their voices, let them so you know who Kedar is, right?
That's a perfectly legitimate interpretation.
Right.
But that doesn't invalidate the Torah.
But then we have the Quran. You see, the problem here is there's an issue. This is one of the things I discussed with the Sikh community. You know Sikhs, right? In the Guru Granth Sahib, in the scripture, which they call scripture, by the way, there is Muslim poetry there is Hindu poetry there, and it is to Sikhs, there's scripture. In that scripture, their main guru, the first guru, Guru Nanak, he praised the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, that if you really want to be sweet, then follow the way of the Prophet, referring to Prophet Muhammad. I asked them, the Sikhs, we have a dilemma. Let me quickly explain. Let me quickly explain. The dilemma is that if Guru Nanak is saying that Prophet Muhammad is a true prophet, if he's saying that, then you cannot be Sikh. Why? Because if he's a true prophet, then he cannot be a liar, right? And if he's not a liar, he is the one telling you that I'm the last prophet. There is no prophet after me, right? If that's the case, then you cannot possibly follow Guru Nanak and believe that Prophet Muhammad is not to be followed, because Guru Nanak.
How does that apply to Moses?
Yes. How does it apply to the Jewish people is the question. Okay. I'll come to Moses as well. The point we're making here is if Prophet Muhammad is truly foretold in the Old Testament, in the Tanakh, and for that reason he's a God-sent prophet, a true prophet, then you can no longer be Jewish. Logically, I'll tell you why. Let me explain. No, wait. If he's foretold in scripture, the Jewish scripture, which we believe he was, we actually believe that parts of Tanakh are revelation. They did come from God. Okay. I know all of this. I'm gonna come to that. I mean, this is a very specific point we're discussing here. The point is, if the Tanakh confirms the coming of an Arabian prophet, Rabbi, don't understand my question. It's a very specific point.
Yes, it's the same point all the time.
No, but
if this abrogated the Torah, so you have to believe in the new stuff.
Wait. First, let's go step by step before we come to abrogation.
I don't want to go, but there's a lot of other people that has different questions.
Let's take questions. Let me finish my point very quickly.
We're going to talk with you for 20 minutes.
No, it's a nice discussion. It's a beautiful discussion. It's a very friendly discussion.
You're praising yourself.
Okay. So if the Tanakh, the Jewish scripture, foretells the coming of an Arabian prophet in clear terms, that he will do X, Y, and Z, and all of those characteristics fit Muhammad perfectly well, and he may well be a true prophet according to the Tanakh, then what grounds do the Jewish people have to reject him as a true prophet? And if he's a true prophet, then he's the one telling us he was the last and final messenger. There is no other choice to people but to follow him.
Hundreds of thousands of prophets to different nations.
Yes, but if he's a true prophet according to the Tanakh, okay, then he cannot be a liar.
He can't be. He wasn't teaching Torah, and the Torah clearly says that if somebody's teaching something different than Moses, he's not for the children of Israel. So we're left with that.
I understand, but if according to the Tanakh, if he's a true prophet, then he cannot be a liar.
Wait, what true prophet are you talking about? True prophet for whom?
Okay, for anyone. If the Tanakh says he's a true prophet cannot be a liar. Do we agree?
It says in Al-Maida, it says that God, if he wanted to, could have made us all one sharia, one umar.
Yes.
And he chose not to.
Yes.
Okay, he wanted to have different
for recognition.
You can get into the interpretation.
Yeah.
But he wanted multiple sharia.
But then again, coming back to the point, if the Tanakh declares a prophet to be a true prophet, can he be a liar? Can he be a liar?
What you're doing is you're doing the same thing that Constantine did. You're taking one point and extrapolating it to the whole.
It's a very important point.
No.
If the Tanakh is saying a prophet is a true prophet, then we have two options: either to accept him as a true prophet or reject him.
No, that's not true. If you have different sharias, you have this prophet is this. It says the hadith says that Muhammad is the prophet. It says you are the people that I've been assigned to. He was assigned to the people, and the ayah says that God would never send a prophet to people who don't understand his language.
I understand that. My beloved Rabbi, my beloved brother, again, I will. If Tanakh says a prophet is a true prophet, can that prophet be a liar? That's a very simple question.
Look, if I tell you you have to keep a Shabbat, I'm being a liar because you don't have to.
No.
If I say that I have to keep Shabbat, I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
I'm saying the same thing, but it has different applicability.
My question
So you
says,
can have a true prophet, but he could be applicable to one people and not to another people.
I understand that, but if a true prophet comes, according to the Tanakh, well, that's a different question. According to the Tanakh says he's a true prophet of God. Now he comes along, this true prophet who has been foretold by the Tanakh, he comes along and he goes, you know what? I have been foretold in the Tanakh, and the Jewish people know this. يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم.
Okay.
The Jewish people know him as they know their own sons. He's been foretold. Now he's telling the Jewish people, I am your prophet, follow me. So now the Jewish people have two choices. If he's a true prophet according to Tanakh, they follow him because he's the one telling them to follow him. If he's not a true prophet, then he's a liar, don't follow him. That's the dilemma we're facing with the Jewish people.
No,
that's the point I'm making.
Well, that's because that's the interpretation you put on it, and we have the interpretation that says that.
How do you undo this interpretation according to the Tanakh?
It's not according to the Tanakh. It's not according to the Tanakh.
So
no, I'm saying because we have the very clear tradition that anybody who teaches something different than Moses about Shabbat, about kosher, about Yom Kippur, he is not a prophet.
I got that point. I got that point.
So he's not a prophet for Israel.
But if the Tanakh is telling you at the same time, a prophet will come.
Well, you're repeating yourself.
No, I'm not repeating.
You are repeating yourself.
Rabbi, this is a very important point which we're missing. We're missing something. Wait.
We're going back to the fundamental point we said at the beginning.
I'll tell you why I'm following Muhammad. Because when I read the Quran in chapter 7, verse 157 tells me, right, that he has been foretold. Who? This man Muhammad has been foretold. Okay, يَجِدُونَهُ مَكْتُوبًا عِنْدَهُمْ فِي التَّوْرَاةِ وَالْإِنْجِيلِ. Clearly, that they find him mentioned in the Torah and in the Gospel. Okay, great. So what we do is we go into the Torah.
Talk for a second here.
Yeah.
You talk about Daniel. Daniel, the name for Daniel was Ish Hamudot.
Right.
The person was the man of delights. The word Hamudot is the same root as Muhammad. He said that 470 years.
I'm not talking about that, by the way.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm not talking about those passages.
I'm talking about that. I am talking about that passage. 470 years, redemption would come. Now, 470 years after the destruction, when Hadrian plowed the Temple Mount.
132, yeah.
132. Plus, what's 132 plus 470?
That's a huge difference.
622.
Yes. Okay.
What happened in 622? The Hijra.
Yes.
So there were many Jewish people that believed that.
Right. Okay.
So believe that Ish Hamudot.
Many Jewish people throughout centuries have converted to Islam because they found the prophecies in the book of Isaiah and elsewhere to be very consistent with the life of Muhammad.
Okay, I come to the conclusion you're repeating yourself. So let other people talk.
Okay. So our points.
The conversation was quite beneficial, to be honest with you. The conversation was quite beneficial.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. Thank you, guys.
And to
just
make.
Remember one thing.
Yeah.
Remember one
and
thing.
this is no repetition, by the way.
You know, the Jewish people have the idea of covenants, of a universal deen that all mankind has to follow, and that you have to believe in God, you have to believe in reward and punishment, and do good works, and you guys are doing that, and that's just wonderful. As far as we're concerned, you guys can be as great as the high priest of the Jewish people.
And we really appreciate that, and this is one of the reasons why the Jewish people and Muslims coexisted for over 1,000 years.
Absolutely, and why they can continue to coexist.
Absolutely, until the state of Israel was created, everything was fine. Everything was fine in the Jewish world. The Jewish people had the golden age with the Muslims. As you, I'm pretty sure you're a historian. You know what happened in Al-Andalus.
There's been ups and downs throughout.
Of course. There's no utopia. I'm not claiming a utopia. I'm saying there were periods of persecution, no doubt. But the overall picture of the Jewish experience in Spain was amazing. The Jewish scholars are telling us it was the golden age for 3 centuries, at least from 950 to 1250. That was the golden age when some of the best Jewish poets. Yes.
Who was made the
Judah
head of the
Halevi.
Jewish army.
Judah Halevi.
Who was made head of the Islamic army.
Yes.
And that was what tremendously upset Ibn Hazm.
Ibn Hazm
he was tremendously upset that a Jew should be given permission by the Sultan to control and he wrote tremendous, very difficult things about the Jewish people.
Yes.
And I think we're still living that.
You see, we have that, but on the other hand, we had a prime minister called Hyde ibn Shaprut, right? Hyde was the prime minister before Ibn Hazm was on the scene, right? This was 900s when Abdurrahman III was the caliph, and he was the most powerful monarch in Western Europe, and Hyde was his prime minister, a Jewish prime minister. So we've had this coexistence, even in the Middle East, even in North Africa, as far as Mughal India. There were Jewish merchants there, flourishing.
As
the state of Israel.
No, it's not just the state of Israel.
You don't think state of Israel changed anything?
Well,
the creation of the state.
Look, we've lived two generations of wartime propaganda. People saying that this person's less than human, this person's less than human. Both sides are trying to blame the other.
Yes.
So we don't have. I mean, first of all, it's forbidden for a believer to believe the internet, for an unbeliever to give news and reports of what's going on. So what we really need are proper religious courts to investigate what's really going on, because we don't have any credible source to really. So I'm going to leave that aside to the politicians who can deal with that. But what I do know is that the idea of looking at, if you can see another Jew...
Sorry, do you say when these atrocities are taking place in Israel that we need someone to go and physically have a look at what's happening? Or
I believe you need God-fearing... we need God-fearing judges to collect evidence.
But the initial point I was making was that things went bitter between the... I mean, when I say... I don't mean to be sarcastic, but when I say people who claim to be Jewish in Israel, who are committing atrocities against the Palestinians, things went bitter when those people...
I walk around in Ramallah, I walk around in Nablus.
Right.
I have
the Jews have walked these streets for over 1,000 years. There was no problem.
Today, and I don't see atrocities going on all the time.
Right.
It is what's portrayed in the media. I'm walking around there is not accurate. And I won't.
You don't think that the state of Israel is actually committing atrocities against Palestinians? You don't think so?
What I said is it's not accurate. I don't have the information. I don't have the information.
You say you walk them streets.
Yes.
Do you not see houses getting bombed? Do you not see Palestinians getting kicked out their houses?
No.
Do you not? You don't see none of
that.
that.
So you've never heard about Gaza being bombed from the sky and white phosphorus being dropped on?
There is a resistance.
Yeah.
There is one group of people who feel that they are entitled to live there, and there's another group of people who feel that they're not entitled to live there, and they're fighting. And a lot of bad things happen when people fight.
Of course, but do you think there is proportionally they're equal? Do you think they're?
I can't. I'm not a politician. I'm not a reporter. I can't answer that question.
I understand.
Rabbi, but I do say there is a war going on. There is a fight
Rabbi,
going on.
we're asking you these questions because you have said you walk them streets. I think you just come back yesterday.
No, I'm saying the Jews have walked those streets for over 1,000 years.
What I'm saying is this
and Muslims allowed the Jewish people to exist.
What I'm saying is this can happen in the future too.
Yeah.
But what has to happen is we have to respect each other.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely. You have to. I have to believe
Rabbi,
you're a believer.
How do you respect each other when one force, the Israeli forces, are going to people's houses and dragging them out of...
How much have you read about the West? In the news, the West talks about Muslims, and they make up stories.
I agree with you.
No, we have seen footage. We're talking about original footage,
which we can show now,
where the Israeli soldiers are beating children up, and
I will say.
I understand. No, but he doesn't want to talk about that. No problem.
We've got very limited time.
Stay off.
Maybe about 3 minutes. About political issues.
Okay.
One thing I can say, he sympathizes more with us because he himself is fighting the same issue we did.
No, he's a perfectly nice gentleman. I mean, we've had a very nice discussion.
But I do. I am very much against. I'm very much against.
The reason why this issue came up, issue came up, because the point I was making was the Jewish people and the Muslims, the believers of Muhammad. That's what I mean by Muslims. People who believe in Muhammad as the last messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They have coexisted for over 1,000 years. The Jewish people were vulnerable. They were being persecuted around the world. Muslims took them into their arms and protected the Jewish people and gave them.
Some of them didn't. It was up and down.
Over 90% of the Jewish populations were in the Muslim lands.
At this point, I am disagreeing with you. I do say that the core of the issue. I'm disagreeing that because of the state caused the whole problem. I'm saying it's because of a lack of respect. That's what I'm saying.
Where did this lack of respect come from? Suddenly, after 1,000 years of coexistence, lack of respect pops into existence.
There are plenty of good Palestinians. There are plenty of good Israelis, and they could get along.
Yes.
And I think what we just got to do is like that guy over there who's really talking fiery, and he and I should be able to get along, hug each other, and we should really build a better world.
But you don't see that coexistence was disturbed by the creation of the State of Israel?
I don't think it's impossible today.
Okay.
I think it's still possible.
Right.
I think it's just a matter of wanting it.
Right.
Wanting what?
To coexist. Right.
I mean,
But if I come,
think what's reported on the news,
if I come
think
into
it's absolutely haram to judge a person based on what you see on the internet.
Okay.
It's totally these are unbelievers.
Okay.
They have no purpose in the world other than incite worse
So
violence.
what about these settlements that are coming up? The land that's been taken from the Palestinians.
Again,
he doesn't want to discuss that politics. So we understand.
Is there any reason why you don't want to discuss this?
What happened in the Constitution of Medina, you had one, it was called Umma Wahida, you had Jews and Muslims sitting together. Why did it work? Because you had one judiciary. You had one system of justice. The Jews had their din, and the Muslims had their din, but both of them came to the Prophet. It was tied under one system.
Agreed.
And that's what we need today, and what we don't have. Between the Palestinians and the Israelis,
So are you saying that Israeli system is failing? Are you saying?
Absolutely failed. The UN's failed. The Palestinians have failed. All of them.
So Islamic system was better. The Ottomans allowed the Jewish.
I won't say that necessarily it was better, but it definitely was on the right idea to have a single system.
Right, because the Jews and the Muslims are coexisting.
There's no way to solve any problem if you can't. I mean, if you can't trust the guy who's walking behind you, he's not going to stab you. If you can't trust that, what kind of peace can you have? You have to have.
So you are actually confirming that the Muslim period
was a good period.
Was a good period.
The Ottomans had the right idea to have a single system over everybody, and in fact,
no, it was not a single system, by the way. No.
System.
No. The Ottoman courts were there for the Ottomans, for the Muslims.
No.
The Jewish Beth-Dins were there for the Jewish people.
It was a unified system. There was recourse. You could go to the Sultan.
There was one government, but the people in Ottoman Jerusalem lived by their own laws. For example, the Muslims had their own courts, the Jews had their Beth-Dins, and the Christians had the priests who govern. So this misconception that
they were tied together.
By the political establishment called the Ottomans.
Absolutely.
Right? The Ottomans.
And that's what we don't have today.
Unfortunately.
Somebody breaks a window.
So here we have a Jewish rabbi advocating for the return of the Ottomans.
Well, I didn't say that. I said for a single judicial system. You need to have.
No, the only period.
You can't have justice. You can't have peace if you don't have justice. And you can't have justice if you don't have a single judicial system.
I agree.
And that's what we need.
I agree.
The UN has completely failed. It has completely
This
failed.
is a thought that's to be cherished. This is what Karen Armstrong is a very good scholar. She stated in a history of Jerusalem that it were the first time these three Abrahamic faiths coexisted was under the system of Muslims. When the Muslims brought the system, when they took over the city, by the way, when Umar the First, he took the city of Jerusalem from the Byzantines, Patriarch Sophronius, they actually put a clause in the treaty that you will not allow the Jewish people to live in Jerusalem. And it were the Muslims who brought the Jewish people back into Jerusalem, right? So this rhetoric out there, or this propaganda out there that the Muslims are somehow anti-Semitic, Muslims are anti-Jewish, Muslims want to wipe out the Jewish people.
The same propaganda is that the Jewish people
is a lie.
don't like the Muslims, that the Jewish people hate the Palestinians.
We don't believe it. We don't believe it. We meet beautiful gentlemen like yourself who change our perception. Yeah.
There are plenty of good Jews. There's plenty of good Israelis. There's plenty of good Palestinians. Again, what we need is a single system, and I believe that the religious courts, if you have B'nai Noach, what we call B'nai Noach, and then you have Sharia or whatever, you have honest people who fear God, who are making judgment and not doing it for politics, not to bring power to some other people. I mean, the governments are rising and falling all the time. You need people who, it says both by Islamic tradition, Jewish tradition, that a judge has to feel that he has the sword of Allah above him all the time. If he makes a wrong judgment, he'll be completely cut to pieces. We need people like that today. We don't have that. Okay.
Rabbi,
nice speed.
Can I give you a hug?
Yes.
very nice meeting you. Very nice talking to you. Okay. Huh? We invite you for a dinner with us if you have time. But and I can see that you have to leave yet. But it was very nice talking to you. And this is what we need. The Jewish people and the Muslims. I already have your.
Keep the communication
we need to keep the communication going. We need to keep the discussion going, and we can break all these barriers. Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Well done. Brilliant. Shalom alaikum. What if you were dying from thirst and hunger? Would you give your iman up, your faith up, in order to survive? Probably not. Probably not. Because you'd rather die in hunger and thirst than give up your religion, right? This is how much we value our faith. It's priceless. Brothers and sisters, let me introduce you to Norway. This is a European country where the vast majority of people have become irreligious. There are 200,000 Muslims of a population of about 5 million, and most of these 200,000 Muslims have no idea how to explain Islam to their non-Muslim friends and neighbors. But that needs to change. Allah sent His messenger to call people to eternal success. And that is why Muslims in Norway are now establishing a masjid and Dawah center to enhance the Norwegian Dawah. But they cannot do this alone. We need to support them. If you donate to this cause, you will inshallah reap the rewards of thousands of Muslims coming back to Islam, and many of those will become du'at and invite to Islam. You will share in the reward for all those shahadas and good deeds to come, inshallah. So click the link and donate now and share the video for extra reward.
Ah